For our next example, we are going to use the unit circle to determine the value of each trig function. So hopefully you are recognizing some of these angle measures as the ones I told you to start memorizing last week. So I have a unit circle with me that we're going to look at. Okay, if you want to pull out the one that you made last week. Okay, you are not going to have a unit circle like this on any quiz or a test, so you want to be able to get used to building this first quadrant or memorizing everything. Okay, I think it's easiest to memorize the first quadrant and then see where an angle, how that would be related to the reference angle or wherever you are. Okay, so for sine pi over 3, I'm looking at my unit circle. I find pi over 3. I find my point is 1/2 comma square root of 3 over 2. I am looking for the sine, which means I am looking for the y value. So my sine of pi over 3 is simply square root of 3 over 2. Okay, next I am looking for the cosine of 7 pi over 6. So I remember that 6 pi over 6 is 1 pi, and then I'm going another pi over 6 brings me to 7 pi over 6. So the point here is negative square root of 3 over 2, negative 1/2. I am looking for the cosine, which means I am looking for the x value. So I have negative square root of 3 over 2. So sine and cosine are nice because all you have to do is look at the x or the y coordinate. Okay, the other 4 trig functions are a little more complicated. So for tangent, I know that I need to find the sine over the cosine. So on my unit circle, I go to negative, excuse me, 2/3 pi. So here's 1/3 pi, negative 1/3 pi, negative 2/3 pi. And I see that my sine is negative square root of 3 over 2. And my cosine is negative 1/2. Okay, so I'm not sure I can get both of these on here. Okay, so here was negative 2 pi over 3. Okay, as a positive angle, that would be 4 pi over 3. But I'm looking right here. I have negative square root of 3 over 2, that's my sine, over negative 1/2, that's my cosine. So I know this trick. If you have a complex fraction and both of the denominators are the same, they divide out. Okay, that is only true if you have a complex fraction with the same denominators. So this, I can see negative divided by negative becomes a positive. Square root of 3 divided by 1 is just square root of 3. Okay, cosecant. I remember that that is 1 over the sine, right, of 4 pi over 3. Okay, so that means I am looking at, or the reciprocal of the sine, at 4 pi over 3. So 4 pi over 3 on my unit circle, the sine is negative square root of 3 over 2. So I'm looking for 1 over negative the square root of 3 over 2, which is negative 2 over the square root of 3. Generally, you want to rationalize denominators unless it says not to. So we're multiplying by square root of 3 on the top and bottom to get negative 2 square roots of 3 over 3. Sorry, guys, I got nervous that I was messing up there, but I checked my answers. I think I'm okay. Okay, another shortcut for this is the secant is going to be the reciprocal. So we can show the reciprocal with a negative 1 exponent. Okay, because remember, negative 1 exponent means the reciprocal, 1 over. Okay, so secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So I am going to look for negative pi over 6. which is right here, right? I'm starting at 0, I'm going down pi over 6. My cosine there is square root of 3 over 2. So I am looking for the reciprocal of square root of 3 over 2. I just did this, the negative 1. Okay, so the only difference here is this is going to be 2 square roots of 3 over 3. Okay, I think this is a number that comes up all the time. It's useful if you have a good memory to memorize square root of 3 over 2. Its reciprocal is 2 square roots of 3 over 3. So next, we are looking for our cotangent of 3 pi over 4. So I am going to find the tangent, which is going to be the sine over the cosine, but then I'm going to find the reciprocal. So if I go to 3 pi over 4, I'm right here. Okay, I see that this sine would be my y coordinate, so square root of 2 over 2. Cosine is my x coordinate, so negative square root of 2 over 2. I notice that those are the same, so this is negative 1, and the reciprocal of negative 1 is just negative 1. Okay, now actually would be a good time to see how much of the unit circle you can build yourself, okay, especially if you can build where the points are for these 6 given radian measures, and go through and find these 6 values. Pause the video and restart when you've found them. Here are the answers to the U-try. If you need more time, pause the video and restart when you're ready. For our next example, we are given that sine t equals 2/5 and cosine t equals square root of 21 over 5. Okay, these correspond to a point on the unit circle. Okay, so we want to find the value of each of the remaining 4 trig functions. I always start by writing sine, cosine, tangent with my argument of t, and then I'm looking for my cosecant, my secant, and my cotangent. So here, my sine of t is given 2/5. Where it's a fraction, it's really easy to find its reciprocal function, 5/2. My cosine is given as square root of 21 over 5. Its reciprocal is 5 over square root of 21. Again, generally, you'll be asked to rationalize denominators. So we get 5 square root of 21 over 21. Okay, you want to be careful to see if there's anything that you can reduce between the coefficient and the integer denominator, but if not, you can just leave it like that. My tangent is going to be equal to my sine divided by my cosine. So I am going to do a shortcut, and I am going to multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, so my 5s are going to divide out. I'm left with 2 over the square root of 21. So I am going to multiply by the square root of 21 over the square root of 21 to get 2 square roots of 21 over 21. Okay, from my cotangent, save yourself some work. Look at the step before you rationalized. Tangent is also equal to 2 over the square root of 21. So we can use the reciprocal here and find that it's square root of 21 over 2. If you didn't see that and you needed to do the reciprocal here and then rationalize, you would get the same answer. So save yourself some work. You can use the reciprocal at any of these steps. Okay, so use the one right here, right before you rationalize. Okay, please try the last you try problem on your own. Pause the video. I'm sorry, on yours, this should be correct. This should be the sine of t. Okay, and you are assuming that these correspond to a point on the unit circle. Here are my answers. If you need to pause the video to check them, do that now. Please make sure that you're continuing to memorize your unit circle. You also want to memorize the identity trig functions and what they correspond to. And you want to memorize that sine t goes with your y value, cosine t goes with your x value.